السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. طلبتي الأعزاء، أهلا ومرحبا بكم في محاضرة جديدة لمادة طرق البحث. معكم مدرس المساعد نوره عدنان، أستاذة مادة طرق البحث في قسم اللغة الإنكليزية، كلية الآداب، الجامعة المستنصرية. So today our lessons will be about what's a plagiarism and how do I avoid it. Now, the word plagiarism, it's considered to be the most important things or concept on writing research paper. Now, when I say plagiarism, it means using someone else's words or ideas or work without giving them a credit. I mean, without documented. Now, the researcher should avoid plagiarism. Now, how do I avoid plagiarism? I can avoid plagiarism by document any sources or books that I use it on the research paper. Now, when you use someone else's words or ideas on your research paper, you must give a credit or you must document it. You have to mention the author, the original author of this work. Otherwise, you are stealing their work, and whether the theft is intentional or accidental, the effect is the same, the result is the same. So it is very important for any researcher to know how to avoid plagiarism. And as I told you that you can avoid plagiarism by document every sentences or every source that you use it in your research paper. So, plagiarism is the technical name for using someone else's word without giving adequate credit. Now, this is the simple definition of plagiarism. As I told you, plagiarism means using someone else's definition, explanation, ideas, word, whatever, without mentioning the original author for this opinion. So plagiarism is the technical name for using someone else's words without giving adequate credit. Now, plagiarism is also, we have a number of simple definition to define the word or the concept plagiarism. Plagiarism is using someone else's ideas without acknowledging the source. I mean, without mentioning the author or the owner of the source. Number two, plagiarism also means paraphrasing someone else's argument as your own work. So you paraphrase someone else's definition, someone else's opinion, and use it as your own definition. Number three, plagiarism also means presenting someone else's line of thinking on the development of an idea as if it were your own ideas. Now, even you use someone else's ideas without mentioning the owner or without mentioning uh, the author, it also means plagiarism. Plagiarism also means presenting an entire paper or a major part of it developed exactly as someone else's line of thinking. Even if you write an essay or write a research paper exactly as someone else did it without mentioning the author, so it's also mean plagiarism. Number 5, arranging your ideas exactly as someone else did, even though you acknowledge the source on part this is. So plagiarism can be used or can be appear in different forms when you use someone else's word, when you use someone else's ideas without mentioning the author. So it's become plagiarism. So a good researcher should try as much as possible to avoid plagiarism. So you can avoid plagiarism by mentioning the original author or the original owner of this source. Now, how do I avoid plagiarism? As a researcher, you have to avoid plagiarism. To avoid plagiarism, you should never use someone else's ideas without acknowledging the source. Try as much as possible to mention the author of the source. Never use someone else's words or ideas without mentioning the owner. Number 2, never paraphrase someone else's argument as your own word. Try not to paraphrase someone else's opinion or word and present it as your own words. Also, in order to avoid plagiarism, you can never present someone else's line of thinking on the development of an idea as if it were your own ideas. Okay? Try not to use someone else's ideas and present it as your own ideas because it will be plagiarism. Also plagiarism, in order to avoid plagiarism, never arrange your ideas exactly as someone else did. So look at this picture, okay? Try as much as possible to avoid arranging your ideas exactly as someone else did. You have to be creative, use something new, okay? Never arrange your ideas exactly as someone else did, even though you acknowledge the source. So it is very important to mention the author and also try not to copy someone else's ideas. So try to be creative. Also plagiarism, in order to avoid plagiarism, never turn on an entire paper or major parts of its development exactly as someone else's line of thinking. So as I told you, try not to use someone else's ideas. Try to be creative, use your own ideas. So never turn on an entire paper or a major part of its development exactly as someone else's line of thinking. Now remember that you present original ideas on an original way. This is the most important thing. When you write your research paper, you have to present the original ideas on the original way. Okay, so you give a credit for any research that is not your own research paper. If you use someone else's resources, someone else's book, research, ideas, opinion, you have to give the credit. I mean, you have to mention the original author of this resource. Now, way to avoid the plagiarism include always document any definition, document any sentence on your research paper. You have to mention the author. Mention the author in detail, especially on references page. You have to mention title, the author, okay? And paraphrase and recognize the differences between fact and common knowledge. So you have to mention the author, and also you can paraphrase the definition, but you have to mention the original author. Okay? Now, students, I hope this is clear for you. Thank you for your listening. See you next lecture. Thank you so much, dear.